We are back continuing a conversation with the president of the Board of Harbor Commissioners, Doug Drummond. Doug, this Los Angeles 2020 report that came out a few months ago that's proposing to merge the two ports, the Port of Los Angeles and the Port of Long Beach. What's the board position on that one? I think I can guess.
Of course, our board opposes it, as does City Hall. But this is an interesting concept. The port's over 100 years old. In reviewing the history of the port, 100 years ago, Los Angeles City was trying to take over the Port of Long Beach. They repeatedly come back, time after time, about a decade apart in their
take another run
move. Yes, and it's absurd, really. The two ports are very competitive with one another. That's been good for international trade, good for both ports. It's been wonderful.
But I think you do compete, obviously, but I think you also cooperated. And I remember seeing at Mayor-elect Garcia's election night party, the mayor of Los Angeles, Gil Garcetti, came down and spoke about how they want to cooperate in so many areas, which I had to interpret as including port matters.
Absolutely, and we already do. We cooperate tremendously on security. We share ownership of the short line railroad that handles all of the movements within both ports. We own a lot of the right-of-way together. It just goes on and on. We've cooperated together with the green trucks and all the other environmental programs. Yeah. We've shared a lot.
Let's turn for a second to the Harbor Maintenance Fund, which is a federal program that distributes some money, and the formula was recently changed in a way favorable to Long Beach.
I should say it's starting to become favorable.
Okay.
It's a tax of 0.0125 on the value of cargo. And between the two ports, we bring in for the federal government about $900 million. And we have received back over the last few years about 1%. As that money is being used to dredge ports on the East Coast and ports on the Gulf Coast that are competitors. And we want to use it for more expanded dredging. That's just been approved. There are other things we want to have approved in the future. We'd like to have it approved for the expenditures of more on-dock and near-dock rail projects so that we can make this movement of trade from the ship inland more seamless, as you described.
And I'm sure our lobbyists are happily at work convincing the relevant congressmen that this would be a good idea.
They are trying hard, and we are going back, and we are knocking on doors, and we are trying to.
The port engages in a rather substantial educational outreach program. I remember we did a show years ago where the port was giving out scholarships. You've been doing that for a long time.
We've been doing that for a long time. We have that cooperative relationship with Cal State Long Beach through their extension program. It's been a marvelous program. It's now being copied in other areas, other countries even. And as well as that, we've now reached across to Long Beach Unified. We are doing a newly planned cooperative program with the school district, training teachers to make better use of information from the port.
And of course, inducing students to consider taking courses and majoring in subjects that may lead to jobs in international trade, such as jobs with the Port of Long Beach. And I know that you've hired a number of our graduates at Long Beach State, where I teach.
And I might add, they're all good jobs.
Excellent, excellent. And finally, let's talk about community outreach, because I know the port wants to be considered and is in fact a good citizen in the greater Long Beach community. I mean, aside from the enormous economic impact of the port, you want to take some of your revenues and just do some good things, whether it's midnight movies on the beach, or maybe they're not midnight, but movies on the beach, and speak to a couple of the programs that the port supports that are a little bit not directly related to port traffic.
We've done an enormous amount of outreach. We do boat tours through the port on an annual basis, a number of them. We do an occasional rail tour for the public that's open to the public. We also do these community outreaches called Let's Talk Port, where we take the port's message into the community. We also support the other things, such as you said, the movies, Martin Luther King Parade, and so on. And when we're doing this, what we're trying to do is establish a much closer link with the public. We want the people in the city of Long Beach to understand the importance of the port and join us in being part of it.
Well said. I always thought, this is a little off the subject, but my hope for downtown, instead of a shopping mall, was always to have an international trade facility where the countries that we trade with could have pavilions, kind of a mini permanent World's Fair. And to me, the beauty of the idea would be that each country would sponsor and pay for its own pavilion, and we could feature the customs, the culture, and the cuisine of each of our trading partners and have that downtown. But that never went anywhere.
Well, but it's not far-fetched. It's good thinking. And you know, we think to the future. World trade is so important to all of us. It isn't just jobs, it's bringing the whole world together. We're becoming a smaller world, a more closely linked world, a more cooperative world as a result of world trade.
And I read somewhere in the background materials your staff sent that there are more Chinese visitors to LA and more Chinese residents in LA than almost anywhere in the country, and they come in as tourists.
That is really true. And we reach out to, commissioners with staff, we travel to Asia, usually on an annual basis, and one of the most marvelous things that we see over there in the growth of world trade is a new kind of battleship building race, I call it. And that is the building of new, modern, beautiful cities. It's something to behold. It's a changing world, and world trade is a leading part of it.
Well said. We'll be back with the rest of our show after these messages.
Phil Trainees mixes California style with continental cuisine that includes fresh seafood from around the world. Since Phil is the chef, the menu has a wide variety of pastas, salads, soups, and appetizers that feature his unique personal touch. And the Italian-American signature dishes are simply beyond delicious. You never know who you're going to run into at Trainees, from the famous sports legends on the Wall of Fame to local celebrities having a drink at the bar. For the best fine dining experience, visit Phil Trainees.
I want to improve my career opportunities.
I want to earn a higher salary at my job.
I'd like to finish what I started.
The new Bachelor of Arts in Liberal Arts degree completion program at Cal State Long Beach will help you achieve your educational goals while keeping your life in balance. Contact our customer service center at 1-800-963-2250 for more information, or visit us on the web. Let CSULB help you finish what you started.
Take care of those who are closest to you, from our family to yours. McCarty's Jewelry, since 1932.
I think Long Beach is fortunate to have an entity in its midst, such as the Port of Long Beach, that's responsible for 300,000 jobs in the greater Long Beach community, and also a port that is environmentally sensitive, where we're getting the best of both worlds, the economic growth, but also an improvement and a sensitivity to the need to protect the public health. So carry on with the good work of the port.
Thank you very much. Those jobs reach across the country. We deliver cargo to every congressional district in America that comes through this port. It's another story in a sense too. I see articles written once in a while, people complaining about the balance of trade because we have so many containers going back empty. But they forget, when Boeing delivers a 747 aircraft, it does not go in a container. When music and motion pictures and Everything else comes out of our media world in America and goes all the way across the world. It doesn't go in a container. So our world trade is a little different in a lot of different aspects, but all together it's an incredible growing thing. Not only that, our world trade, our balance of trade is recovering. We're coming back fast as we deliver more and more petroleum and natural gas products.
And as the labor costs go up in China.
That's right. That's right.
And some of our businesses are coming back.
And some of our businesses coming back. Yeah. So it's all good, and it's good for the standard of living for every American.
Well, what's on a cargo ship going through the Port of Long Beach today is on your Walmart shelf next month, something like that.
Yes, it is, and in every other department store.
Doug, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you at home for being our guest. Please be with us next week for the next edition of Straight Talk. Good night, everyone.
Straight Talk has been brought to you by the Port of Long Beach, the Press Telegram, and Scan Health Plan. And remember, Straight Talk is viewable 24/7 at straighttalktv.com.